Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast.
Oh gosh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Wait, you like that?
No,
you don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
No, how about that? You like that?
A little better.
Bread makes you fat?
Does this count as annoying?
Just tell me what you want me to fuck!
Not you, and not you.
Okay, I think it's time to take off your clothes and jump me.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
I drink your podcast! I drink it up!
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of I Drink Your Podcast. IDYP 2010. We're talking about 2010 movies. I'm Emily, and with me I have my co-host Ben.
Hey, everybody.
And an extra special warm welcome to our amazing co-host, Brandon, who's celebrating his birthday today.
Yeah.
Yay,
thanks.
Brandon!
Thank you.
Brandon, how does it feel to have your birthday shared with Insurrection Day?
Hey.
It's pretty bad. I can't undercut it. My dad called me as it was happening. My dad called me he didn't say happy birthday, son. He said, "Oh, son, I'm sorry." It's the first thing. The first thing he said when it happened last year.
My wife's birthday's 9/11.
Oh,
so it's tough. Eventually, all the days will be ruined.
Yeah. What is your birthday going to be ruined by?
Yeah.
That's what you get to look forward to the rest of your life.
Well, this week we watched The Ghost Writer. Writer, not Rider. Hopefully you guys watched the right movie. But The Ghost Writer is available to stream on Vudu, Tubi, and Plex, all of which are free apps that you can download on your Roku. And all it requires is an email address to access, and then you can watch it for free with ads.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's also on YouTube, I think.
That's very possible. I don't ever look on YouTube for the movies I want to watch.
Well, I was visiting YouTube randomly, looking up some scenes, and I was like, oh, it's free on YouTube.
Oh, get it.
Random. All right, it is time to get drunk. Woo!
Yes.
I'm kidding. You don't have to. But we do love to tie our drinks to our movie. Brandon, birthday boy, what's in your glass tonight?
I'm really basic. I went with root beer, and because I said I'm not very much of a drinker, so root beer, and I got kind of black with it. I went E&J apple.
Oh.
I don't know how that goes together, and I'm gonna sip it because I'm just gonna sip it. I'm not gonna drink like a man would. Because I actually want to be able to get full sentences out.
Brandon had a revelation listening to Social Network that maybe he needs to take it a little easy on his drinks.
Yeah, this is a casual hangout.
That's right.
Although I did get very drunk last episode. Oh, well. Ben, what are you drinking?
So I went with a drink inspired by Tony Blair, who is former Prime Minister of Great Britain. And he enjoyed himself a stiff whiskey. So in honor of him, I poured myself a real stiff glass of whiskey. And also, it kind of ties in with the writer theme, because I imagine a lot of writers just sipping whiskey as they write their screenplays and stories.
My goodness. I also went with that kind of liquor. Oh my God.
Liqueur.
I love Ewan McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just everyone does. Big Fish, Star Wars, everything, right?
Right. Who doesn't love Obi-Wan?
Moulin Rouge. Ugh, just everything. So in honor of his Scottish heritage, I guess.
Yeah,
and also because he drank so much brown liquor in this movie, I am drinking a Scottish whiskey. Well,
Nice.
Scotch whiskey. So, yeah. That's what we're getting up to tonight.
It seemed like nobody drank water the whole time. Like water was just shunned the whole movie.
Nope.
Well, water's what killed the original Ghost Rider.
This is true.
Gotta get away from that.
Well, Brandon, again, love having you on. Thanks for joining us today. Why don't you tell us, what was your favorite movie from 2021 that you saw?
From 2021?
Yeah.
I did see Spider-Man.
Okay.
I don't know if a whole lot of people have seen it yet. I did enjoy it. Again, my favorite Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield. So I did watch that. What else did I watch that wasn't too bad?
Well, Brandon, I do got to say a lot of people have seen it because it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah,
so,
but I always hear that I'm like actually giving away. Somebody on Facebook was like, "Yo, man, spoilers." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I kind of did spoil a part." But if you haven't seen it, has everybody here seen it? I don't want to spoil
Nope.
it. See, I don't want to spoil it. See. So and then what else did I watch? I watched Red Notice was okay. It was kind of it was okay. It was okay. I mean, I really haven't seen anything that's blown me away at all.
Okay.
I do want to see the Cumberbatch movie. I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Power of the Dog?
Yeah, I want to check that out. Other than that, I haven't really been steeped too heavy into a lot of films this year. I've been really busy.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, speaking of someone who's busy, the President of the United States, always busy. Brandon, in honor of this movie and its government focus, what is one thing that you would change? The first thing, in fact, if you were president.
It's a loaded question.
The first thing I would change, let's get rid of all the student loan debt. Man. Let's get rid of all the student loan debt off tops. Because I mean, I think then people don't have to worry about paying that bill. They can just go ahead and take that money and go ahead and buy new stuff or start businesses and stuff and invest in the stock market. Like, just get rid of all that student loan stuff.
I'm in favor of that. Ben, what would you do?
I would federally legalize marijuana and decriminalize it, and then release all of those drug offenders from prison. That would be my go-to.
Oh man, you two coming in with the serious topics here.
Yeah, and this question originally, Emily, when I wrote it was, if you were president, what would be the thing you did that got you in trouble? But I decided to change it because I wasn't sure where that was going to go.
I don't know where that would go either.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Well, I honestly was like, fuck, I don't want to change anything if I was president because I don't want to fucking be president, even though I wanted to when I was in like third grade. And just growing up and being a teacher, politics suck. And it takes a long ass time to do literally anything productive and meaningful. So I like wouldn't be able to make great changes anyway. But if I really have to pick something, I'm just going to make all the Supreme Court judges and legislators wear funny giant hats when they're working. So I'm talking ludicrously sized hats. You know, that's an across the aisle platform, Emily, that you could probably run on. Like you're gonna get people from both sides on that one. You got my vote.
To actually piggyback on that, I did used to say a long time ago, like actually not too long ago, that I don't think Supreme Court judges should be a lifetime position. I think after 20 years, you got to go.
I agree.
Just because, like, I don't know how in touch they are, and they're passing laws and legislation for like kids that are like 6, but by the time they're actually gone. So, like, is that going to apply in 20, 30 years after they're gone? Probably not.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about this British leader, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ghost Rider is 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So pretty good score. Got a 4 stars from Roger Ebert, and it was on many critics' top 10 lists.
You realize I know nothing about politics.
You voted for him, didn't you?
Adam Lang, of course I did. Everyone voted for him.
He was paid $10 million for these memoirs, but it's a ghostwriter he needs. Plus the money's good. Kids won't starve.
Don't have any kids.
I do. This is a great opportunity for you.
Hello? Who are you?
I'm your ghost.
Ghost Rider was directed by Roman Polanski, a one-time Oscar winner for directing The Pianist, 5-time Oscar nominee, and full-time garbage person. He directed classics Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown. And a little spoiler for what's coming ahead, we are going to talk more in depth about him later. So we'll just leave it at that for now and move on to the starring.
Good idea.
This movie starred, as Emily said, Ewan McGregor from some of Emily's favorite movies, the Star Wars prequels, Big Fish, Moulin Rouge, and, I'm surprised she didn't mention this one, Robots.
I mean, I was going to go Down with Love, but yeah.
Oh, Down with Love is so bad.
It's so not bad. Shut up.
Oh my God.
I loved it.
I forgot about Robots.
Robots is also good.
About Robots?
It's so good. It's really not, but I love it anyway.
Also starring in this movie is Pierce Brosnan, who is a world-renowned singer from the Mamma Mia movie.
Oh, stop.
And star of some of Matt's favorite movies, Dante's Peak, The Thomas Crown Affair, and 4 of the James Bond films. We also have in this movie Olivia Williams, who is in some of my favorite movies, Rushmore and The Sixth Sense. Have you seen Rushmore, Emily?
Huh.
No, you've talked to me about how I need to see it before.
Yeah,
I
you do.
haven't seen either of them.
I've seen parts of it. For some reason, I never got a chance to finish it. It was funny as hell in the beginning, but I never got a chance to finish it.
Also in this movie, Tom Wilkinson, who is a 2-time Oscar nominee and star of some of Wesley's favorite movies, Eternal Sunshine, Batman Begins, and Rock and Rolla.
Oh my God.
And lastly, we have Kim Cattrall, who is the star of Dylan's favorite movie, Porky's, and Brandon's favorite TV show, Sex and the City.
Oh, and another one of amazing film that's on my top 10, will always be on my top 10, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Love that film. Can watch that film back to back, straight through, without a drink. Amazing film.
No, without a drink?
Sober. And love
I don't know about
every
that.
minute of it. I love that movie.
I don't know if I can get through any movie back to back without a drink.
I love it.
Back to back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Back to
I can do
back.
it.
I've done it.
You watch the first time to decide the game that you're going to play for the second time you watch it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean, you could, but
Well, Emily, you had not seen this movie, nor had I.
no.
And we couldn't give you clues to what this movie was about then because neither of us had seen it. But you did know it was called Ghost Rider. So
And that was
based
it.
on that and that alone, what did you think this movie was going to be about?
Obviously, this movie is all about Casper, the not so friendly anymore ghost.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Casper is an old and unaccomplished writer looking to finally make a statement in the literary world of ghosts. Yeah, he's a dead old ghost because apparently they age in the afterlife too. So he starts writing ghost stories on how each of his ghost acquaintances horrifically died over the years, and then he takes advantage of their pain in order to put it in his book on the afterlife's bestseller list. Like, that's his goal, right?
I mean, that makes sense. Write about what you know, right?
Right. However, Casper begins to regret his exploitation of these ghosts' stories because something starts haunting him in his never-ending eternity of death. So that's what I was expecting.
And is the thing that's haunting him alive then? Or is it also like a ghost within? Is this like Inception for ghosts?
This is Inception Ghosts. Obviously, it's 2010. Have you not seen our cover art?
That's right. Yeah.
But Brandon has the real one.
Oh, I got the real one? Okay.
He's got the real synopsis.
So here's the real synopsis of Ghost Rider. Let me get this right. When a gifted writer, McGregor, is hired to write the memoirs of British Prime Minister Adam Lang, he quickly finds himself trapped in a web of political and sexual intrigue. Lang is implicated in a scandal over his administration's harsh tactics. And as the ghostwriter digs into the politician's past, he discovers secrets that threaten to jeopardize international relations forever.
Intrigue, political and sexual.
Sexual. I almost guffawed.
There's some sexual intrigue.
Yeah, how much of it, though?
I mean, the second that Kim Cattrall showed up and interacted with Pierce Brosnan, I was like, ooh, they fucking. Like, it was very obvious.
They didn't go anywhere with it, though. It was just pointless shit.
They fucking...
No, but it was definitely there, at least. They tried.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just the way Kim Cattrall is, and anyone that she interacts with, I'm just like, oh, she's fucking him. Maybe Sex and the City has ruined her for me.
Just ruined everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, this movie is based on a book, which is a critique of Tony Blair and his time as prime minister. So this Adam Lang character was kind of built to be a criticism of Tony Blair. And I'm just curious, because we are ignorant Americans. Emily, what do you know about Tony Blair?
I know that he was prime minister around like 2003-ish, I think, and was involved with some Iraq stuff.
Okay.
And that's like literally all I know. I honestly didn't remember his name until I started reading the plot synopsis stuff on Wikipedia and started reading like a little bit of the background. I was like, oh, I don't know who any of the prime ministers are in England.
Do you know the current one?
No. Oh, wait, is that Boris?
It is
He's
Boris,
the guy with the bad hair, right?
Okay, I do know Boris.
Yeah.
Because he's got such, you say it like Boris, like from
Rocky Bullwinkle.
Rocky Bullwinkle. Yeah, Boris.
What's up with the guy's hair though? Like he can't get his hair together. Like that's just embarrassing, dude. Like I can't take a guy. I mean, I don't like judging people off of their appearance. I'm pretty sure he's a very bright individual. He's very smart. He's very capable. But like,
shrug.
We have no idea.
I just want to like lick my hand and just put it over the top of his head a couple of times. Like just get that down. Just pat that down once.
Now, Brandon, do you have any more information on Tony Blair? Because I got to admit, other than the time frame that he led, all I know him from is that Chappelle Show sketch with Black Blair, with the Black Bush, Black Tony Blair, where Jamie Foxx played him. That's all I know him from.
That.
You don't remember that? Okay.
I just remember his name. That's it. I don't know what he did.
Okay.
He could walk past me on the street and I would not know who he is. I don't.
Yeah. So I think that's something that's kind of an American thing, though, to not know foreign leaders, because I'm sure if you went to another country and asked them who's the president of the United States, people would know. Would you agree with that?
Especially the last 4 years.
100%.
Well, right.
Sorry,
right.
5 years.
Well, so then why do we Americans get away with that? Like being so ignorant to everyone but us?
Honestly, it's probably because we dominate most of the news when it comes to mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
And mainstream media, a lot of it is owned by the United States. I mean, I follow the BBC, and still, like, half of the stuff in the BBC is related to the United States.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
You know? Yeah. And so, like, I do hear things occasionally in different countries and different, like, really traumatic events that happen worldwide. But again, half or more than half of the articles are all related to the United States, especially during the election.
It does sound a little bit better to hear your bullshit in a different language. And not a different language, but like in an accent. You'd be like, damn. You're like, damn, we're really fucked up over here. That sounds really bad. Like, God, as goodness gracious, are Americans trash? Like, you just don't know. Because you sound so different when somebody has an English accent. It's like, oh, I guess we are pretty bad. Didn't realize that.
But this movie is made by someone who hasn't been in America for a while. And the reason I know this, and this is something straight from the movie, is that there's a scene outside of the Prime Minister's house where there are Americans protesting what the Prime Minister has done. And there is no way that there are any Americans in the know enough to actually protest outside this guy's place.
Especially in the middle of fucking nowhere. I mean, I know Martha's Vineyard, like, isn't the middle of fucking nowhere, but also it kind of is.
Well, when you got to take a ferry to get there, it is, like, if it's not accessible to most people.
Right.
So.
Like, what the hell?
There was a lot of people there, though. You couldn't tell them that. They were there.
Well, they were there because Roman Polanski put him there, and he's the director of this movie. And the reason I said he hasn't been in America as a while is because he hasn't. 1989, he was arrested for statutory rape of a 13-year-old girl. And since then, he has kind of fled America and has not been back since, because the second he steps foot on American soil, he will be arrested. And Emily actually found this out while watching the movie.
Halfway. Yep. Halfway. So Corbin was talking to me and he was looking up the movie because I was like, I don't even know what it's about. And he like looks it up and he goes, Polanski, and that's all he says. And I kind of go, okay, what? And I don't think about it. And I'm looking through the cast and I don't see anyone named Polanski in it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I keep watching the movie and I'm like halfway through. And of course, at this point, I'm a little lost in the movie in general because political thrillers don't really do much for me. So I had to like read a little bit to make sure I wasn't missing shit. And I noticed the name Roman Polanski in director. And I was like, oh, might as well just Wikipedia this, click on it. And I go, holy fucking shit. Yeah. Why are we watching this? Oh my God. And then Ben brought up a good point. Well, one, he didn't realize who it was by until after you added it to our list. But then also, like, we would have had to stop and not do, like, any movies in the past.
Already in our 4 movies into 2010, we would have had to not do Social Network because Army Hammer sucks. And we would have had to not do Unstoppable because TJ Miller sucks. So really, if I have to do an entire podcast about love and other drugs, just fucking end me now.
Brandon, did you know about Roman Polanski?
Yes, I did. Of
course you did, because you know everything about movies.
No, I wish I don't. But I've heard 2 different stories. I've heard the one where that's what happens and that's kind of the end of it. I heard another one where I think it was like at a party or something like that, and then the girl's mom is there, so the girl's mom is leading it on to where there's the fact that she's not as young as she is. So I've heard 2 different stories on it. I don't know which one is true. I have no clue.
I mean, but either way, she was 13, so...
Yeah, she's 13, but like what I heard was that he didn't, and this is again, I don't know, but I heard he didn't know till after the fact. To like, and then that she was coming off like she was 18 or 19 or something like that. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. I mean, I can tell the difference between a 13-year-old and somebody who's not. But then again, I heard that she was like older than 13. I heard she was like 15 or 17 or something like that. I can't remember.
You're hearing a lot of things, man.
It's a film thing. You know what I'm saying? You kind of hear like 2-3 different stories about it. So you never know what to believe. So I don't really know.
Well, a person trapped in a foreign country due to their behavior at home describes Roman Polanski and Adam Lang in this movie. And initially I thought we were going to get a little bit of a view into Roman Polanski and how he feels about being like isolated from where he wants to live. And then this movie didn't even touch on that. So that kind of took me as a surprise, because I thought, okay, we're going to see him make some commentary about himself. But in the end, this movie is mostly just a criticism of America and how shady our government is.
I guess so. I think I was expecting a little bit more because Roman Polanski actually helped write the screenplay. So as I was like sleuthing Wikipedia and the internet, I was like, oh, this is a book and Roman Polanski helped like write the screenplay. And so I was expecting it to be a little bit more nuanced, because I realized that he's actually a very famous director and very like good at his job, even though he's a terrible person. So yeah, I guess I kind of felt the same way about halfway through the movie. I was like expecting it to be a little bit better written or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you not agree that this movie is a criticism of America?
Oh no, I think it is.
Okay.
I just felt like it was going to be more like nuanced and more related to like his own personal experiences, honestly.
Oh, gotcha. Instead of just generic CIA infiltrates the British government, which is what the twist of this movie is.
Is that generic in 2010 still? I mean, like now, like it'd be like,
good question.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, okay, we get it. You know, we've seen this 40 times before. But I think then, because I actually saw this movie then. Okay. And I couldn't remember, like it's been 10 plus years since I've seen it. I didn't remember if I liked it or not until I started watching it. I watched it this last time and I was like, oh, I did kind of like this film. And I noticed some things directorial wise that were done that kind of lets you kind of give you a clue of what's going to happen next to people.
What do you mean?
So like, all right, there's a part when Ewan McGregor's when he first gets there after the whole trip, and he first gets there, he's talking to Pierce Brosnan. He's all like, he's kind of, excited. He's doing his job and stuff. And if you look at Pierce is behind like a red painting. So red symbolizes power, right? That's what the whole power thing. You have a whole lot of power. So he's there. He's all intrigued into him. He's listening to him. When he gets some more information on him, he starts doing like a little bit more digging. The next time that he's actually talking to him is when everything kind of pops off with with like the whole like war crimes allegation stuff. So I think it's what's the other lady's name? His name is Williams, right? The female
Williams.
lead.
Yep.
Okay, so like she's there, and then he's there, and the camera's positioned to where there's a red painting behind her, and she's saying a whole bunch of stuff, and all of a sudden like Pierce is kind of going along with it, and then that's when you find out when like Ewan McGregor's talking to her one-on-one. Whatever he always asks me how everything looks, how everything's going. Always takes my particular cues. So she's behind this red painting. So like, oh, okay, that's where the power shift came in. So you see that difference then. Also, another thing, next time you see her and Ewing together like a different setting is when they're actually having dinner. What color is her dress? Her dress is red. So she has all this. So like she's actually taking all the power in that particular film. So like that's when I was
God.
like, but it took me it took me like 14 years to actually like, oh, this is what I'm looking at in the director.
You just
and the
like
cinematographer.
completely blew my mind.
But if you go back, if you decide to go back and watch the film and you see that, then another thing that kind of threw me off. I had to stop. I watched it early and I sat it down. Okay, I'm just gonna think about it. I'm not gonna go back and rewatch any scenes that I wrote down these notes. So when I rewatched some certain scenes, I noticed that like there's an American around them all the time that's like pulling the strings. So like when he goes to actually do the whole book deal, those guys are American. And that particular lawyer that's kind of comes in when all of a sudden Pierce is like, oh, okay, do I go back to England, or do I go to Washington D.C. because I have all this heat? That lawyer's in there. I forgot his name.
And he just tells him straight up, no, you gotta stay. You can't go anywhere.
Exactly. So then when Ewan McGregor goes to kind of see what's going on after the other guy got killed, he goes into follows the whole GPS. That's an American. So at the very end, when the book signing happens and everything's done, both of them are there, and all three of them are there. All three of them are in on it. And then here's the one thing that I literally did not notice until I watched it again 10, 14 years later. When he hops off the plane, he waves. Nobody waves to him. When he's on the plane, at the end, he comes off. She waves. He gets popped.
Yep.
So, like, it's been a thing this whole time.
You are so attuned to details, Brandon, that I just don't even fucking think about.
Brandon, I gotta know, like, the way you watch movies, does a movie ever surprise you? Like,
oh yeah, definitely,
okay.
Definitely, because it's like here's the thing. It took me a while to actually start doing this. You have to turn off and enjoy it. So like if I know I'm watching I don't know, Fast and the Furious. So yeah, I use Fast and the Furious a lot. If I know I'm watching that, I'm just watching it to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time I normally watch a movie, I'm watching it to have fun. And then if it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying, can you check out this film? Like, cool, I look at it. Then it's like, oh, here are the nuances that I never noticed before because I'm not watching it with that lens. So like when I watched it this time, like even like a lot of the whole feeling of the film, it's in like shades of gray. It's all shades of gray. It's cold. It's cold the whole film. Everything about the film feels cold until she walks in with that red dress and the light changes. The light's more of that like yellowish, like the color temperature is different. Right. It's a whole lot of warmth going on. And she's wearing red. So like, she has color. That's literally the only person, maybe Kim Cattrall a couple times, wears something that has color. But that's it. Everybody else is wearing these like monotone colors, these browns, these grays. Like Ewan McGregor's sweater is like 5 times bigger than he is. Like it's just like everything in it. Seriously, dude.
That's what writers wear, I guess.
I actually wrote down like how big is this guy's damn sweater? But like everything is like in these dark colors, for the exception of her in that particular scene. And that's the whole power shift. That's when she's controlling everything after that.
Isn't that though like a crutch that thrillers use? They're like, oh, we're gonna have the muted tones and this aura of mystery. Yeah.
And then it's like a thriller. Everything's in shades of gray, right? It's like, you don't know who's doing what. He's kind of figuring stuff out. One thing I do like about this film is that you don't find anything out without Ewan. He's always there when you're finding stuff out. So like nothing's ever a surprise because you're taking the journey with him.
Oh, he gets surprised at some point.
Oh yeah, he definitely gets surprised. But I mean, like, it feels like he's in every scene, every single scene.
Well, this is classified as a thriller, but how thrilling was it, really? Emily, were you thrilled?
No. Okay, so the reason I had to look up on Wikipedia was because I felt like I was swimming through like really thick gravy for the first half. I'm like, I am not really following what's happening. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going over my head when it comes to like, I don't know if it was allegory or if it's just relating it back to the other prime minister that I can't remember his name already. Tony Blair. I remembered. Yes. But it wasn't until that dinner scene that Brandon's kind of talking about with the red dress and Ruth. It wasn't until then when I started actually feeling intrigued like I do in normal thrillers where the stakes are kind of revealed. When the old Ghost Rider died, I was like, okay. I guess we'll see how long Ewan lasts. So, and he doesn't have a fucking name the whole time, so we call him the Ghost.
The Ghost.
Casper.
Well, Emily, I got hooked at the exact same time you did with that scene where Ewan and Olivia Williams are having dinner together. Like, that was really where the movie started to pick up. Before that, it felt like just a lot of place setting, a lot of exposition to try to just set up the chess pieces before we could really get at, like, what's going on. And the place setting didn't really interest me very much. Like, it just seemed like very generic political movie to me, and instead of something that, like, had real substance or was unique.
Yeah, like, for example, the two people that were in the movie that served as the cook and maid and like gardener, I'm assuming, they just kind of existed, and I felt like there was going to be more with them at some point. They seemed like they were going to be a part of something, but then they just ended up just existing. And I felt like that was kind of how a lot of the characters were. They were just kind of there. They didn't serve a purpose other than just being there, a part of this political sort of entourage.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, was it thrilling for you at any point?
Is it bad that I say yeah?
No, it's fine. Please enlighten us.
I kind of like the setup, but then I have to remember if I liked it way back then too. I think I did like it. And it was a long trek to that particular part where he's starting to figure stuff out. I even liked the aha moment. I thought that was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was bad because I literally thought, I mean, I know he's not going to get killed in the beginning, but I literally felt like something was going to happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Even like the little car chase, when he found out that like, well, when he's talking to like the old guy, and the old guy's like, oh yeah, there's no way that body would have washed up over here. It would have been way down there. And, you know, oh, you could talk to old Miss Mabel up the street, but, you know, somebody tossed her off the roof and now she's...
Right? She's in a coma.
She's in a full-on coma. It's like, damn. So, okay, there. And then that's when you kind of start to think, okay, somebody's in on it. Of course, you kind of knew that's what it was going into it. But I liked it. I mean, it is very slow. The first act is very slow, but I think you kind of need that to kind of know who he is, and he kind of keeps referencing that he doesn't have any family. So it kind of feels like he was chosen specifically in case he found something, nobody would miss him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this movie, especially at the beginning, would have benefited from like the typical noir narrator? Because I believe the book has a narrator.
I think I would have enjoyed the movie more if that were the case.
Why is that?
Because it all felt very, very cold at the beginning, very distant. Even Ewan McGregor's character, the way he would talk to people, he wasn't really like relating with them. He was very standoffish, even at the beginning. Yeah. And I feel like I would have been more invested in his character had I gotten a narration. Because, and honestly, Brandon, when you said you were worried that like you thought something would happen to Ewan, that never even crossed my mind because every scene just about happens with him. So he had a certain level of plot armor in my eyes where it's like, oh, he's going to be fine until the plot's done with him. And that's pretty much the movie we got.
Yeah, right. I don't know if a narrator would have done a whole lot for me or not. I mean, I think I if there was one, I wouldn't have been upset because there wasn't. It didn't bother me either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think a lot was like told in the beginning, to where, you know, he's talking to the Punisher and he's saying, "Hey, you know what I'm saying, we got this deal, got all this stuff going on." How do you say that guy's name? How do you say his name? I always butcher his name.
I have no idea.
John something.
The guy's agent.
And he's like painfully American in this whole movie. But like he's actually there, like when they first come in, we first see them. And the thing that made me think, okay, this is gonna, like, these American undertones are always gonna be here, is that everybody is in there using chopsticks. He has a fork and a knife and he's eating a steak. That's like super American to me for some reason. But like even all of that, and then when you go to, you see how he lives in his flat, like it's all books, the TV's pushed in the corner. He basically says he's by himself. So I wouldn't need that narration for that. Maybe a little bit of like how he's plotting through stuff, maybe. But I thought a lot of that was shown pretty well. So I didn't think it was bad. But if they had narration, it wouldn't have bothered me either. I still would have liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Ben in this. I think it would have added a little bit more of a connection and stakes for me with the ghost.
The fact, Emily, that we're calling him the ghost, like, he doesn't even have a name in this movie. Like,
right.
They don't even give you the opportunity to form that connection.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I felt, you know, not having a name for him. I get, like, it's the whole distance piece that they're trying to kind of make him an everyman, but also with, like, mystery. I don't know. I generally found it to be thrilling more in the second half, but it still didn't feel very thriller-ish, you know? Like, what's a very well-known thriller?
Thriller.
You fucker.
Hey, man, everybody loves Mike. Would you consider Scary Movie? Not Scary Movie, but it's not Stab. I called it everything but what it's called. Scream? Would you consider Scream an actual thriller? Like the first
Scream
one?
Is more horror. Parasite is a thriller.
Right.
I would say that's a good example of a recent one.
And you know what? I think the difference in this one is that in Parasite, you care about those characters because there's that whole base. With this guy, because there is no base and there's no real attachment. He doesn't have attachment to anybody he interacts with either, because it's just a job for him. And then you find out that it's literally a job for everybody. Like, it's a job for Kim Cattrall, it's a job for Williams, it's a job for Pierce. Like, there's no real connection to it. Only connection is that, you know, and I think this is what that whole triad thought, since everything was getting thick with Pierce and, you know, all of a sudden all these allegations come up. I kind of wondered if they said, okay, we have to get rid of him, because if we don't, we're not going to get the book money. Because if he goes to jail, nobody's going to buy the book. So they end up getting rid of him. So now he becomes assassinated, not necessarily a martyr. The way you hear his side of the story is going to be through finishing this actual book. So everything felt really cold. It didn't feel like you were attached to anybody. You were just kind of going along with the ride. Unlike Parasite, it's like when that birthday party scene pops off, you care about everybody in there.
Yep.
This one is like, even though Ewan gets it in the end, it's like, damn. And it's kind of that's kind of like it.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I just decided to Google like thriller movies just to see like what ones I've seen, and I think you're on to something, Brandon. You know, Lucky Number 11, Gone Girl. I just watched The Last Night in Soho, and I fucking loved it. Even though I hated the number 23 and I hated Disturbia, you still had like a character that had some stakes. And with this, there wasn't really anyone that I cared about, which, like, I get, you know, you're trying to, it was really a nice movie to look at. And I felt like there were a lot of parts that were good, but I don't think I would define it as a thriller.
I mean, what would it be then? Just a political movie, a drama, political drama?
Movie.
Just
Drama.
a movie. Movie. This is movie. Well, before we dive in deeper into the movie, I wrote something today.
Who'd you write to?
Okay, so you have to imagine that this is on the back of a postcard that has a picture of a New England-style lighthouse on it. Because that's kind of the mood that this movie gave me, yeah. Dear ghost who never showed up despite the promise of the title. Where were you? You never showed up. I assume it's because you refused to work with Roman Polanski. Respect. Hope to see you around, Ben.
I'm glad you and I were on the same page on the ghost wanting.
Absolutely.
That's the sequel.
The Ghost Rider. And then the sequel, the Ghost Rider.
The Ghost Rider.
You're so dumb.
Well, now that we're back into the movie, who won this movie? Or what won this movie? Emily.
The old man. He was by far my favorite part in this movie. I felt like he delivered his creepy lines just great enough to add the intrigue that I was missing. And he also just was kind of adorable in the way that he just looked windswept and grungy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he'd been hanging out in a boat for a while. Just, I loved him. He was great.
He's the one that like knows currents really well, right?
Yeah.
Like he just knows where things are gonna wash up.
Because he's lived there for like 80 years.
Yeah.
I've been here 80 years. I know all about this.
My winner of this movie, and I don't like that this person is the winner of this movie, but it's Roman Polanski.
Hey.
And the reason he wins is because he is able to keep making movies, and critics will still eat all of his shit up, despite how shitty of a person he is. And that's truly remarkable that he still has a career 30 years after fleeing America. Like it's incredible. And also this movie was not that bad to look at. Like I actually enjoyed a lot of the framing and a lot of the shots that he chose. It's a sleek looking movie, and I think you can credit him for that.
Especially some of that night stuff when he comes out of the hotel when he's hiding out. You know how the hotel's over his left shoulder. That was pretty. It's not for it to be nothing but shades of gray. It was not a bad film to look at. I mean, and that cinematographer did what else did he do? He did All the King's Men, Ray, and The Pianist. So like that's because that
the what? The pianist?
Yep.
Say, come on, say it right.
I think that's how you say it, right? The
penis.
The pianist. The pianist. God, the pianist.
Penis.
See, man. See, I need to stop. The penis. All right, this is my last drink in Drink Your Podcast.
So Brandon, I'm assuming cinematographer wins for you tonight too.
I honestly think it's Williams. Everything she's in, I think she's really good.
Oh,
I haven't seen anything that she's ever been bad in, and she's like the go-to British actress for like sass and wit, and then she goes the complete other opposite direction, and she ends up being like this like somebody that you actually like want to go over their house and see if she can really cook. Like she kind of feels like she has like she can hit everything. I've never seen her anything bad.
That's a good pick. I like that one. I thought we were just going to make a standing winner for Brandon every time was just cinematographer.
No. I mean, it's amazing, but I mean, it's like I kind of waited for her to come back on the screen, to be honest.
Yeah.
That whole control aspect of things when she just kind of walked in, she walked into Ewan's room and started talking to him, and she's like, "Can I come in?" And she just walks in. I'm like, "Damn, you didn't give him a chance to say yes or no." Or like, what if this guy? I mean, he said, "Are you asleep?" He's like, "What?" It's like, "Yes, I'm asleep. Can't you tell?" But like, yeah, that whole scene, like the morning after, it was all control and snippiness, and then everything became cold again. And I think it's just she just does a really good job of in everything she's in.
Yeah, she had my favorite line of the movie, which is, "If we meet any terrorists, I'll text you."
Yeah.
When her bodyguard was on the beach. I love that line.
I do too. And I even, like, there were mannerisms of hers that I really liked, you know, and that made her feel a lot more personable. There was one moment she's sitting on the couch with everyone as they're talking, with the lawyers and the politicians and the secretaries and everything. And she like pulls her cardigan all the way around her body and just like huddles into it as she's getting annoyed and frustrated with everyone. And I'm going, Man, that is peak Emily right there.
And like the thing is, she's still controlling the shit out of that scene. Though she's controlling everybody's listening to her, no matter what. Even the guy who's supposed to be the president or the former prime minister is sitting there like looking like a kid, looking right at her, and she's all pulled up and just huddled up. I mean, I thought it was amazing. I thought everything she does is good. I have never seen anything with her bad in it.
Other shout outs?
The ending shot with the manuscript blowing away. I loved that shot. Like, maybe some people might find it cheesy, but I love just sitting in that for a while. It felt like a really great last panel in an actually interesting graphic novel. Like, that's what it made me think of.
Mm-hmm.
My last note that I put down was Ewan fulfills the promise of the movie's title by turning into a ghost.
I just wrote yep. That was actually the final scene. Yep, that was good.
Yep,
that was good.
I mean, we'll talk about it. It wasn't all good.
I liked it.
I got some quibbles with the final scene, but other stuff I liked. I thought the score was really good. I thought it really complemented the film well for most of the movie, except for the first 10 minutes, which sounded like a Fantastic Beasts score because it was very magical sounding. And I was like, what kind of Harry Potter shit is Ewan going to get into here? And then it didn't go that direction at all.
Not at all.
Has he done a movie like that? Has he done a movie magical other than Star Wars?
No, I don't.
Big Fish is pretty magical.
Counts.
Yeah.
We already talked about the acting. Just generally, things were directed well. Like you said, it's a sleek film. I felt the same way, and I hate saying that. But I will say, like, my favorite overall scene is the dinner scene because that really ramped up the whole movie for me. That was probably my favorite scene.
I really enjoyed the conversation on the plane between Ewan and Pierce. And immediately after that, Pierce getting namesaked by that bullet. Like, I liked that it kind of... It made Pierce Brosnan dying that much more surprising because of the conversation we had. It felt like the gotcha moment, and then it wasn't, and it was taken away from us. And then he got.
I actually forgot that happened. So when he got popped, I said, "Oh shit!" That's always my expression. I'm surprised somebody gets killed in a movie. Oh shit, he got shot. But that, it's, again, she cued it. So I kind of wonder if that guy was, if that guy was a mole. Because at the end, it's just, it ties up too nicely for the bad guys at the end. Like, it just so happens that this guy's on top of a roof. This guy's a former prime minister. Like, nobody's checking the roof. Like, I think that's some mandatory thing for, world leaders. Check the roof.
Well, let's go back to that scene at the end, Brandon, because I'm going to talk about a couple of things I didn't like. And the first thing is, I hated the shot of the passing note.
That was my first thing I hated the most of this movie. Yeah, although I put it in my weird, because it did take me right out of it.
Yeah, I did not like that. It felt very Agatha Christie to just be like, it's the first word of every new chapter. It was like, come on, like, we've seen this before. Like, that's the best you can do?
Yeah. But again,
true.
2010. Have you seen it before 2010?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, like, literally any detective novel that's British, that's, like, you usually find things in writing, and it's, like, a secret code, and it's super obvious when you think about it. But I will just say that the note passing scene lasted for fucking ever. We're passing it to 15, 20 people, and they all know to pass it forward. Like, there wasn't even a moment where they look to see who it's for. And I'm like, what are we in fucking middle school?
Yep. Like, someone should have just turned their shoulder and been like, the fuck is this? Like,
right. I expect, like, if someone would hand me a note while someone's giving a speech to hand it to them.
And nobody looked. Like, damn that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna look. Hold on. Oh, so Latasha like Tyrone? All right. All right. You kind of give the head nod, like, all right, man, I see you, big cuz. Like, it's supposed to do that. Like, that never happened. Everybody's just Passing it forward. Yeah, I didn't like that either. My weird was like definitely like the whole like going into the sex thing. Like he's talking himself out of it when he's in there. And he's like, no, this is a bad idea. And he opens the door and she's just in the bed. And he's like, okay. He just drops his robe and he's like butt naked. I'm like, one, I'm too body self-conscious to walk around any place naked, period. Two, it's like, you sleep naked? Like, I can't do that. That's just, what if the house is on fire? You got to run out. Like, you run out and like, it's nothing on. Like, I don't know. That's where my head goes. I'm sorry. That was my weird thing. I just can't do the whole, that's too much.
My weird, and this happens quite a bit, when it's an actor that shows up in a movie of a genre that they shouldn't be in.
Oh.
When Jim Belushi.
Yes.
In the very second scene, he's there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Where's your hair? Like, what are you doing? You should not be here.
I was sitting there going, I know who you are. I know who you are.
Took me
you
right
look
out
different.
Of it. Just by existing in this movie, it took me right out of it.
Yeah. There's one other thing I forgot to mention about the thriller stuff, and this is kind of bad and weird. Did either of you go back and watch the trailer for this movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to encourage you to do so, because that movie, they pick shots from the actual movie and cut it in a way to make it seem like a fast-paced thriller, not a slow burn.
Yeah, I'm sure they wanted to sell this like it's a Bourne movie.
It felt like it, and the movie, the way that they paced it and the music behind it, it was like, this is gonna be scary. What's gonna happen? We gotta look behind this place. I don't know what that voice is. Sorry.
That's Emily's trailer voice.
Anyone want to hire me for voice acting? I can do a trailer for you.
Well, let's put a cork in this thing. Brandon, give us your final thoughts on Ghost Rider.
I liked it. I give it 6.5 shots to the head out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I give it a solid 6 out of 10. I didn't love it, but I will appreciate good filmmaking now that I've been forced to watch a lot of bad filmmaking in 2007. I mean, there was good shit too, but my eyes have been opened in terms of recognizing what good art is, even though I didn't find the story very compelling.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Emily. Like, I appreciated the look of it. I appreciated the artistry behind the shooting of the film. I just did not engage very well with the thriller aspect of it, or the mystery at its heart, and it took too long for the mystery to get really going for me. So I'm probably a 6 out of 10. Like, I'd give it a pass. It passes. It passes my class.
Nice. Are we ready for some Twits Lite?
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
Don't oversell it, Emily. Jeez.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get that idea?
I just tried to think creatively.
Number 1. Did you know Nicolas Cage was originally cast as the Ghost?
Stop.
Really?
I'm not kidding you.
True. Oh my God. It
is true. So you got to tell me, what Nick Cage moment would you have wanted in this movie to enhance it? What do you picture Nick Cage doing?
I mean, the first thing that jumps into my mind is him trying to piece together this puzzle like it's a National Treasure type thing. And it's him just being like how he does in National Treasure, where he talks his way through like the different history pieces and is like, no, that's not it. And it would have been all external dialogue and monologuing as he tries to piece this together out loud for 2 hours.
For me, it would have been, he has to do all this, but he has to have the whole Con Air mullet. That has to be in it. That has to be in it. Everything can be the same as long as he's got the mullet.
I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy that you didn't know that. That made my day so much.
No, that's amazing.
All right, number 2. A pedestrian picks up a page from the manuscript at the end of the movie. What's the first thing they read, and what's their reaction?
If it's an American picking it up, they're not going to know who any of the people are that are being talked about, because the guy has no idea about foreign policy or anything. In addition to that, the manuscript is boring. as we've heard many times throughout this. So I'm sure he just reads it and is like crumples it up and throws it back into the wind.
It's the first thing he reads. I don't know. Maybe he was a bad actor. I don't know.
Back in Cambridge.
Yeah.
I just imagine somebody like picking it all up off the ground and like stuffing boxes with it. That's what I imagine somebody.
No paper goes to waste.
Right. This is rubbish anyways. We'll pack our fine china.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that so much. Because I swear, like, that's something I would have done. If I saw all this paper blowing around, I'd go and collect all of it and reuse it for something. Okay, lastly, number 3. You gotta think real hard on this. Whose autobiography would you ghostwrite?
Flavor Flav.
Oh, fuck. I would read the shit out of that, Brandon. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you write that book and I will read it. Oh my God. That's a fucking great answer.
Dude's got like 75 kids too. I would definitely do it.
I want to go straight Scooby-Doo's book. I think that's in line with my sense of humor. I think I can really understand his canine heart and sensibilities and put that to the page.
That's good, but it's no Flavor Flav.
No, it's not even close to Flavor Flav. What a fucking perfect answer.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Well, we got a game before we go, and Emily's going to play our game this week.
Shall we play a game?
I despise guessing games.
This great game. Makes you think and it helps your memory.
Let the games begin.
The name of the game is Poor Emily.
What?
And this is going to be a game that we bring back every now and again, but it's going to be in different forms. But in this form, yep, Poor Emily. I'm designing games I don't think you're going to be very good at.
What?
In this movie, Prime Minister Adam Lang was also an actor. So, Emily, I'm going to give you a person's name, and you tell me if it's the name of a current head of a government or if it's an actor.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I designed a game you're not going to be very good at. Okay. So here we go. Actor or head of government? And away we go. Justin Theroux.
Oh, head of government.
Incorrect.
What?
Jean Dujardin.
Head of government.
Incorrect.
Fuck me.
Scott Morrison.
Actor.
Incorrect.
Fuck me.
Pedro Sanchez.
Head of government.
Correct. Philip Davis.
Actor.
Incorrect. Imran Khan.
Oh my God, I know this name too. I'm gonna go with head of government.
Correct. Daniel Bruhl.
Actor.
Correct. Angela Kinsey.
Head of government.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Mark Addy.
Head of government.
Incorrect.
Fuck me.
Mario Draghi.
Head of government.
Correct. Joe Biden.
Are you if you gonna fuck with the I mean, I don't know. Can you actually, you can't say he's a head of government because there's the 3. So I'm going to say actor.
Incorrect. It's both.
No, you fucker. You fucking piece of shit.
Because he was in Parks and Rec. So he's both.
No, actor, because he's not the head of government. I got 5 correct.
He is the head of government.
No, he's not, because there are 3. The 3 triangle.
He's the figurehead of government.
But there's the 3 that balance them out.
It's the Holy Trinity.
Give it to me.
It's the legislative, judicial, and executive branches, you mean?
That's
exactly.
Correct, yeah. Emily, you did not win today as expected. I was really happy when Justin Theroux and Justin Trudeau had so similar names.
Fuck you.
I knew you'd get thrown off with that right away. I knew if I could get you off balance, you would suck at that game, and it was true.
You're a giant asshole, and I'm never talking to you again.
No.
Well, finally, we're over.
Since you're not going to be here next week, I guess I'll intro the movie.
No, fuck you. I'm taking over this show. Next week, I will be watching a movie on my own, but Matt will be joining me. We're going to be watching our first foreign movie. It's a Bong Joon-ho movie. It's called Mother, and Matt is really into reading now. So he should super love this foreign movie where he has to read subtitles.
Well, Brandon, thanks for being here with us. We'll see you again in a few weeks. Before you go, give us in your best Daniel Day-Lewis impersonation. I drink your podcast. I drink it up.
Yeah, I was kind of practicing this in the car. I want to see if I get
Oh,
it right.
my.
Online, I wasn't practicing in the car, but I was going to say that. I drink your podcast. I drink it up.
Ooh, that might be the best straw sound we've had.
Yeah,
That was a really good straw sound.
It wasn't gross. It was natural, but also still kind of haunting.
Yes, just like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Right.
Well, we'll see everyone next week. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and like, rate, subscribe, share us with a friend or two, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at IDYP_podcast, or email us at idrinkyourpodcast@gmail.com.
Do it.
Take it easy, y'all.
Bye.